All right, welcome back on SportsLine. Steve Layman now here along with Hope Hines, and we're just going to talk sports for the last half hour of the show. That seems fitting here on SportsLine. Great cause, though. I'm glad you had the guys in for the big run coming up this weekend early on. Absolutely.
They wanted me to say you can register online, everybody, at Shoney's5krun.com. I meant to say that earlier, and I forgot. Register online at Shoney's5krun.com.
Are you running this year, by the way?
Oh, no. No. I agree. I shake hands and I speak to people, and, you know, I'm out there to just do that.
That's the perfect role for you. The
exactly.
5K fun run coming up this Saturday morning.
It'll be fun, too. Yeah.
737-7767 is our number. You want to just chime in, say hello to Hope. We can talk any topic you want here over the last half hour, although the massive topic, as you know around here lately, is the NFL draft and the decision to stay at number 2 and draft Marcus Mariota. What did you think about that move by the Titans?
I was not for that move. I guess because I thought, in my opinion, I would have gone with Mettenberger. I think he's an NFL caliber quarterback. I think he can do the job. Now, here's what's really going to be interesting, Steve. What if he beats out Mariota? I mean, who's to say that he might not? I mean, he may just have an all-world camp, and he's going to be way ahead of the young man from Oregon. We know that. So it is possible that he could take over that number 1 slot, although I don't know if they would have handed the ball to him if he made it that way or not, because they drafted Marcus for many reasons, not just because he's an outstanding quarterback, but because he was going to energize this community and the fan base, and he has done just that. So, all that said, your question to me was, were you for it? I was not. Maybe I'm warming up to it a little more now, though.
I was kind of with you. I was on the side that I thought that they could go in other directions and maybe improve the team more. Right. Although what I've said on this program the last 2 nights is after seeing the draft in totality, I like the move more and more because it showed to me, I think, they identified that they needed a quarterback. And maybe that stems from the fact that Mettenberger only played 6 games. He lost all 6 of the games he started, and he finished the season hurt for the second straight year, by the way, because he ended his career at LSU hurt as well. That perhaps they just thought, we don't know what we have in this guy. And we're sitting there in the opportunity to pick one of these 2 quarterbacks at the top of the draft. We have to do that. And then when they did, they had a draft that was 7 of the 9 players on the offensive side of the ball to try to get him protection and to try to get him weapons to help him out. And they did I think that was a well-executed draft once you get past maybe the disagreement of what you do at the top.
I think the nation liked that pick for the Titans without any question. Most of the experts, even going into it, I saw it was either in the Tennessean or maybe it was USA Today or somewhere. They had 10 or 15 people predicting who would go where, and most people said Mariota would go with the Titans, and they thought it was a good pick. So, you know, we're going to wait and see. Now, here's another question. Is Whisenhunt smart enough, and I know he is, to reconstruct most of his offense to fit this young man coming in? And I think that's what he's going to have to do, because he is not NFL ready. I do not think he will be NFL ready for the first game. He's still going to be a raw rookie, and he's got a lot of things to learn in the meantime.
That's my big question as well, is last year we saw Ken Whisenhunt that frankly wasn't very flexible with that team. He came in and he did it his way, and you were either going to conform and perform or you were going to be gone.
That was the easiest thing for him to do for himself as a head coach, I think.
Right, but now, now he's got to be flexible because this is his guy, or at least it was the guy he was told was going to be his guy going into this. And so he's got to figure out a way. Yes, he can still run Ken Whisenhunt's offense, but there's got to be some things here that allow Marcus Mariota to be what Marcus Mariota does best, and that's extend some plays, use those legs and that speed as a weapon, and how that fits in. And the fascinating thing that goes along with that, to me, Hope, is, once again, how does Mettenberger fit into this? Because if you're making those changes to the offense, a lot of those reps are going to Mariota as you try to get him ready. So how does that maybe stunt Mettenberger's progress here? How much of that offense can he run? Because he certainly isn't skilled in the way that Mariota is and all those other things.
This also presents another problem for Mariota. He comes into a situation where there is not a sitting veteran quarterback that he knows, okay, I got a year to learn, or maybe even 2 years to learn. He's in competition with the guy that a lot of people thought was going to be the quarterback this year. That puts even more pressure on Marcus, it seems to me, to up his game, to get his game at a high level as he possibly can for that opening day, because Whisenhunt has already said, Webster's already said, he's our quarterback starting day one.
Yeah.
That is a lot. That is a huge burden for that young man to have to carry. And if I'm Marcus Mariota, I'm coming in, if I'm Mettenberger, I'm coming in, I'm working my tail end off, I'm getting in the best shape I can be in, I'm learning that playbook backwards and forwards. I want to show them something. They're going to be sorry they drafted this guy.
Yeah.
No.
Mettenberger's a confident guy,
yes,
so you
is.
know he's coming in with that attitude.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess to say all of that, Steve, I guess it's just going to be good for the quarterback situation. It's going to be fun for you guys to watch.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be fun to watch them in training camp. Yeah. And whatever happens, I think you're finally going to feel like the Titans have a quarterback. It's been a long time since you felt like you had a quarterback that was going to be the quarterback.
Right,
you know, like you had Matt Hasselbeck here for a year, but you almost knew he was just a rental. Mm-hmm. Then you had Jake Locker, but because of the injuries, you never knew if he was going to be the long-term answer. Yep. Even going back to Vince Young, you didn't know if he could be the long-term answer. The last time the Titans truly had a quarterback, Steve McNair.
Absolutely.
You went out there every weekend expecting him to be out there, expecting him to perform, and expecting him to be back the next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Titans haven't had that since him. And whoever wins this battle, and I think it will be Mariota, because that's why you draft a guy number 2.
Sure. So you do everything you can to make sure he does that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When he does that, I think you're going to finally feel like, for the foreseeable future, he is the Titans quarterback, and that's a good thing.
Right. And the other thing is, too, this young man has to come in and win this offense over. He's got to come in there and let them know, I'm the guy. You're going to love me. Here's why you're going to love me. Watch me.
Yep.
You know, watch my ethic in the locker room, work ethic, and watch me do the things that I do. Watch me in the room. Watch me in the study sessions with the quarterbacks and the offense and all of that, because he's got to win that locker room over.
Yeah, what's going to be a little bit fascinating is to see that dichotomy.
That dynamic is a whole different deal.
There were some guys, especially the new guys last year with Mettenberger, who really liked Zach Mettenberger. Taylor Lewan is his best friend.
Exactly.
That's your left tackle who's blocking for you.
Yeah.
Those guys obviously, just inherently are going to pull for their guy to some degree. But you also have a lot of new guys. We talked to Harry Douglas today. He's excited about it. Some other defensive guys we've talked to who are new, but they're super excited about having the Heisman Trophy winner. You draft these 7 guys on offense. They're not going to be predisposed to either one, but it's going to be interesting to get the feel of that locker room as they compete against each other for the betterment of the team in August.
At some point, though, all of these guys are going to have to say, okay, we like Mettenberger, but we want to win. We want whoever's under center to be the winner, to be the guy, not only be the guy, but the guy that can take us to championship.
No question about it.
And they will all rally behind whoever that is.
Off of 2-14 last year, everybody wants to see improvement. They got to have improvement, probably for Ken Whisenhunt to keep his job.
That should be the easiest thing for them to do this year, to go win 3 games.
It'd be impossible to do worse. But what is the acceptable improvement, though, Hope? You draft a guy like Mariota. They say things are going to be better. What do you need to see to really feel like this is going in the right direction?
Double wins. 8's not enough. 9's not enough. 10 wins.
They need 10 wins this year.
10 wins this year.
Or else what?
Well, I'm just saying, for the public, for the fan base, for the expectations of this team, you got a Heisman Trophy winner, you got number 2, you got a pretty good quarterback sitting on the bench, you got a running back in a backfield now that should be able to run the football, and that's another key thing for this young quarterback. They got to run that football some. They got to give him some opportunity back there under center, not only just to step back and throw the ball, but they got to have a complimentary running game. So I say, look, 10 wins. 10 wins.
That's obviously the ultimate goal. That's obviously the ultimate goal. You want to get to the playoffs and give yourself a shot, which 10 wins would do.
Absolutely.
I just think for this team, you got some baby steps involved there.
They're not going to win 10 games.
What I'm curious about is, for the fans out there, for the ownership group, or whoever becomes ultimately the new team president here, what's going to be enough to feel like Rustin Webster and Ken Wisenhunt are doing their jobs, because frankly last year was a massive disappointment, because let's not forget 2 years ago Mike Munchak had this team at 7-9 going through all the injuries they went with at quarterback and elsewhere. That team probably was a playoff team or right there on the door, and you make massive changes to bring in Ken Wisenhunt, you get everybody all fired up, and then you fall off the face of a cliff to go 2-14. I think you have to go way back in the other direction to make you feel like you're going in the right way.
So you say, how many wins do they need to get this year? How many wins can they get?
I think you got to get at least 6 or 7 to make people feel like this even has a chance to succeed at some point.
And here's the other thing that I would say about that. There is such a thing as how you lose.
Oh, yeah.
And if they lose pretty, you ever heard of losing pretty? You can lose pretty. You can lose with a dogfight right to the very end. Unlike some of the games they've had the past several years. If they play hard every game and they still lose, 10 games or whatever it may be, this fan base and this community will accept that a lot quicker than what they saw last year. And I think they'll get that this year.
Yeah. Well, and your point is well taken. I mean, 2 years ago, 7-9, you flip around 4 or 5 plays in the fourth quarter of those games in Mike Munchak's final season, and that team could be 10-6 or 11-5 and in the playoffs. You flip around 4 or 5 plays from last year, their margin of loss goes from about 30 points a game to 25 points a game or whatever it was. That's how far they were out of it last year. It wasn't just 2-14. It was an ugly 2-14.
No, I totally agree. And so I think the expectations, as they should be, are high right now, and I think they will continue to be high right on through training camp, right on through preseason. Who cares what happens in preseason? It really doesn't matter. Now we get started in the regular season. Now let's see what starts to happen and how they do it.
That's the best thing about this draft, is the excitement about Titans football. Is back. Whatever happened last year, you get a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. Now people feel like there's something to be excited about, reason to buy tickets for next fall. All right, we got to take a break. We will come back. More with Hope Hines and your phone call, 737-7767. Stay with us. You're watching SportsLine here on News Channel 5+.